Good morning, America. Hurricane Aaron forcing evacuations, the high-stakes summit over Ukraine, and the surprise return on Sports Center. Hurricane Aaron on the move. Now 115-mile-an-hour winds. A state of emergency declared in North Carolina. Coastal areas preparing for up to 20-foot waves. More than 50 swimmers rescued from rip currents at one beach. The storm now heading north. Victor Okendo is in the Outer Banks. Ginger with the track and timing.
The war in Ukraine. President Trump pushing for a face-to-face meeting between Ukraine's President Zelensky and Russia's Vladimir Putin. After a day of high-stakes talks at the White House, where European leaders pushed President Trump to put more pressure on Putin.
New developments in the Matthew Perry overdose case. Prosecutors saying the so-called ketamine queen, charged with supplying the dose that killed the Friends star, is set to plead guilty.
ABC News exclusive. One woman's story of survival. Stalked for more than a decade before she was kidnapped, taken to a soundproof bunker. How she managed to escape. Why she's sharing her story now.
Weight loss wars, the new move to make popular medications Ozempic and Wegovy more accessible and more affordable.
Cracker Barrel backlash. Videos on social media showing fans upset over its redesign, ditching the nostalgia it's famous for. The company's CEO responds live only on GMA This Morning. He's gonna need a bigger board. What happened when this shark met this surfboard?
And do not adjust your screens. The surprise throwback on Sports Center.
Hey there. Saying this for the first time in 22 years. Welcome to Sports Center.
Rich Eisen's return after more than 2 decades and his touching tribute.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
Who says you can't go home again? Good to have you back home, Rich Eisen. Seeing him back in the chair last night.
That was a nice surprise. That was great. We have a lot to get to, including the breaking news about a major airline strike. It's impacted so many people traveling right now. We're going to have the latest on that.
But we begin with Hurricane Aaron. The major storm is on the move, with states of emergency and mandatory evacuations in effect in parts of the Outer Banks and North Carolina. And that's where we find Victor Okendo with the latest for us this morning. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Michael. Everyone here is under a mandatory evacuation order. We expect these waves to really start picking up today. That is a major concern for a number of reasons. All of these homes behind me that are exposed, they are very vulnerable, and that surf can start to destroy protective dunes and eventually make roads impassable. This morning, the Outer Banks under mandatory evacuation orders. Hurricane Aaron now measuring 600 miles across and could produce winds of at least 120 miles per hour. New satellite images showing lightning flashing around its eye. Coastal areas bracing for waves of up to 20 feet.
I think that the biggest concern is this highway at sea level. You may not be able to drive for a few days.
Life-threatening rip currents now reported along the East Coast. Lifeguards racing into the water in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, where more than 50 people had to be rescued Monday. Multiple cruises forced to reroute due to the storm.
Because of the storm's path, it's a no-go.
Tracy Nicholson was headed to the Dominican Republic when the ship's captain said they had to change direction.
At the end of the day, I want to be safe. I want to feel safe. As passengers, we all do.
There is one major highway into Cape Hatteras. It's Highway 12. Officials tell me that it's common for waves to crash over the dunes that line the highway. They fully expect it to flood, or worse, parts of it could get washed away entirely. Guys?
To be prepared. All right, Victor, thank you. We're going to bring in Ginger with the track and timing of the hurricane and the rip current warnings that you've been talking about, Ginger.
Yes, and Aaron is a great reminder that hurricanes don't need to make landfall to have widespread impacts. Right now, it is just east of the Bahamas. It's headed northwest at 7 miles per hour. We have new tropical storm watches as of last night up for the Outer Banks and a storm surge watch for that surge, meaning the push of water up to 4 feet. And it's not just the Outer Banks. We're talking about Virginia Beach, Wrightsville Beach. Every beach Beach along the East Coast with a serious rip current risk, huge waves, and erosion. I don't want us to sleep on this. From Rhode Island through the Jersey Shore, we're going to see impacts. So let's take it over and kind of track it timing-wise. Wednesday through early Thursday, that's when it gets the closest. Way too close for comfort. Some of those outer bands just kissing on the outer banks there before that front helps this storm go to the north and east. The waves are going to be so big on the order of Myrtle Beach, easily up to 8 feet. Wrightsville Beach, 8 to 12. Virginia Beach, 8 to 12. George, anywhere from the Jersey Shore through Long Island, Nantucket, and even Nova Scotia, as this pulls away Friday, are going to see huge surf.
That is a big zone. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to get the latest now on the war in Ukraine after President Trump's summit with President Zelensky and European leaders who pushed Trump to put more pressure on Putin. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is tracking it all from the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And this was a high-stakes day of diplomacy, a meeting that ended in progress, not a shouting match, with President Trump saying he's now making arrangements for the leaders of Ukraine and Russia to come face-to-face. This morning, Ukrainian President Zelensky says he's ready to sit down with Russian President Vladimir Putin after a remarkable display of diplomacy at the White House. Zelensky and 7 European leaders racing to Washington to sit down with Trump, determined to end the war in Ukraine. Zelensky arriving at the White House with a new approach. Dressed in a suit, the president clearly pleased. It was just 6 months ago the two leaders had that disastrous meeting in the Oval Office that turned into a shouting match. Zelensky, a wartime president, was criticized for his attire. This time around, both leaders intent on avoiding a repeat.
Thank you very much for your efforts. Personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you.
But Zelensky was adamant. To end the war in Ukraine, he needs security guarantees in case Russia invades again.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
The president says the U.S. will help, but the burden will fall on European countries.
They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Trump and Zelensky then joining world leaders from France, Germany, Italy, and the UK. The president caught on a hot mic saying Putin wants a deal.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand? I think as crazy as it sounds.
And telling reporters the goal is for lasting peace.
I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable.
But the group divided on how to get there. Trump had been pushing for a ceasefire until he met with Putin in Alaska. The Russian leaders said no. And then Trump suddenly argued it was no longer necessary. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz disagreeing.
I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that and let's try to put pressure on Russia.
French President Emmanuel Macron, too.
Idea to ask for a truce or a ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity.
After meeting behind closed doors for hours, Trump calling Putin and then revealing he began the arrangements for a meeting at a location to be determined between President Putin and President Zelensky. And so the president says after those two leaders come face to face, then he would then join for a separate trilateral meeting, but still major questions on whether this will happen. We have not heard any firm commitments from Russia. And this morning, the French president says he has the greatest doubts that Vladimir Putin actually wants peace, Robin.
As you said, still some major questions there, Rachel. Thank you. We're going to get reaction from Ukraine. Our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, is on the scene for us there in Kyiv. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. While European leaders and President Trump were wrapping up their peace talks, Russia was launching more attacks on Ukraine. 270 drones and 10 missiles fired overnight and this morning, hitting 16 different towns and cities across the country. Here, smoke billowing over the Ukrainian city of Kremenchuk today. The city's mayor reporting dozens of explosions, with Russia again targeting energy and transport facilities. President Trump now working on getting Putin and Zelensky together, and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov just now not ruling out any kind of meetings. But Russia is opposed to any idea of a NATO contingent to try and provide these security guarantees. And the thorniest issue of all, Russia's demands for 20% of Ukrainian territory, not yet even under serious discussion. So despite the upbeat mood in Washington and from their own presidents, honestly, war-weary Ukrainians see no immediate change in the landscape and no end to the war in sight. George?
Ian Panel, thanks. We return now to the showdown in Texas. A Democratic state lawmaker is locked inside the state capitol, the latest move in an ongoing battle over a Republican plan to redraw the congressional map. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has the story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Texas House Democrats returned to the state capitol on Monday after a 2-week walkout as they tried to stop a redistricting effort that heavily favored Republicans. But one of those state lawmakers is now stuck there, locked inside the Capitol building, and officials say she can't go home unless she agrees to a mandatory law enforcement escort. This morning, Texas Democratic lawmaker Nicole Collier is waking up locked inside the state capitol. She's been there since Monday afternoon because she refused to sign a permission slip for a law enforcement escort home.
As you can see, it's empty in here.
Just outside those locked doors are crowds chanting, "Let her out." Collier was one of more than 50 Texas Democrats who left the state for 2 weeks, attempting to stop a vote on new congressional maps designed to favor Republicans ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The Texas governor had played hardball to try to get them back, threatening absent Democrats with steep fines and arrest. But after stalling the Texas House for 2 weeks, many of those Democrats returned on Monday, greeted by cheers as they walked the halls of the Capitol. With the Democrats back, the Texas House of Representatives finally has a quorum, making it possible for Republicans to go forward with their plan to redraw the congressional maps.
A quorum is present, and it's time to resume the work of the people of Texas sent us here to do.
On Monday, the Republican House Speaker announced that all lawmakers who left the state still face civil arrest warrants, and the doors of the House floor would lock them inside unless they agreed to leave with a police escort. Those officers would also ensure lawmakers return Wednesday when the House is next in session. But Collier refused to sign the document agreeing to the police escort, instead remaining inside the State House.
I'm tired of being pushed around and told what to do when I disagree with the actions of our government.
In a show of unity, two of Collier's Democratic colleagues joined her overnight.
Now, they could leave, but they are standing with me as well, because they're tired and fed up as well.
The Texas Democrats failed in their efforts to stop the Republicans from changing the congressional maps in Texas, but now Democrats in California are attempting to respond by redrawing their congressional maps in a way, George, that would favor Democrats.
And John, President Trump also trying to affect the next election by making a push against mail-in voting fueled by false claims about voter fraud.
Yeah, I mean, one of the amazing things about this, George, is President Trump is citing Vladimir Putin as an expert, saying Putin says you can't have a fair election with mail-in ballots. Vladimir Putin hasn't had a fair election in Russia since his very first one more than 20 years ago. He won with 88% of the vote last time, in large part because he jailed or worse, his political opponents. Also, George, one very important point about this, the Constitution leaves it up to the states to choose the times, places, and manner for holding elections. In other words, no role for the president on this one.
John Carl, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. Now to breaking news in the major airline strike that has impacted thousands of travelers. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is here with more. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, this was a dramatic 4 days, but now this morning, the breaking news right here, that strike is officially over, at least for now. So let's take you back in time and tell you what happened here, because 10,000 flight attendants had refused to get back to work despite a federal order. The head of the union even said they were willing to go to jail or be fined. This, of course, was all over pay. Now the union says they have reached a tentative agreement. So Air Canada was forced to cancel hundreds of flights and said that 500,000 customers were affected by the strike, both in Canada and right here in the United States. In America, United is Air Canada's partners, and they told ABC News that very few United customers were affected, so that's some good news there. Now, Air Canada, as you can imagine, they say that restarting a major airline is a huge effort. It could take about a week to get things fully back to normal, Michael.
Yeah, I'm sure people will be happy when it does get back to normal, Gio, and they can get on their way. Thank you so much for that. We're going to turn now to a stunning shark encounter. The surfer surviving the incident And of course, Sam Champion is here with the story. Good morning, Sam.
Hey, when we say lucky to be alive, Michael, guys, add another lucky. Lucky. This Australian surfer is lucky to be alive after a shark took a bite out of his board with a force so hard it sent him and pieces of the board flying into the air. Brad Ross is surfing in Cabarita Beach on Monday when this 16-foot great white shark took a bite out of his board directly behind where he was sitting. Ross then has to scramble to shore, clearly shaken, but miraculously not injured. He said he felt like the board exploded beneath him. And there was some shark sightings of that. There was, look at that. Look at the size of that bite right there. So imagine if you're on it, you get that force and you go flying off your board. Ross was sitting on the board, as you do. When you're surfing, you spend most of your time sitting or laying on the board paddling out. The predator, likely why he was able to escape without a scratch, because he wasn't standing on the board at the time, and the shark didn't get his leg. Beach may be great for surfing, but it is not manned. It's not guarded. So imagine how bad this could be.
Ooh, like you said, lucky.
Lucky, add a few luckies, yeah.
All right, Sam, thank you. Now early excitement at the U.S. Open. The nation's premier tennis tournament is changing things up, kicking off Fan Week with the mixed doubles competition featuring some of the biggest names in the game. So tell us what they're serving up this morning.
Yeah, Robin, we've been talking about this and it's finally here. The mixed doubles competition, well, it usually takes place in the final week of the U.S. Open, but that is changing this year as the tournament executives have decided to front load the Open, if you will, with a very different mixed doubles filled with teams of the biggest players in the game paired to perfection to try and get people out to Queens to enjoy the Open right from the start. Some of the pairings include two-time Wimbledon champ Carlos Alcaraz playing with former U.S. Open winner Emma Raducanu. America's Frances Tiafoe and Madison Keys are playing together. And another American duo, number 10 ranked player in the world Ben Shelton, is playing with two-time Grand Slam doubles champ Taylor Townsend. Also playing, as we now know, Venus Williams. We were talking about this all last week. Seen here, there she is practicing with her nearly 7-foot-tall partner Riley Opelka ahead of their match. That happens later today. Venus also, by the way, got a wild card to play singles at this year's Open. That's so exciting. And while this new supersized mixed doubles has lots of people excited that they get to see multiple top players all at once, not everyone is happy. The mixed doubles specialists who normally play but who did not make the cut this year in favor of these big name players say it's just not fair that they have to miss out on playing in a Grand Slam, as well as not having the chance to earn money that they might have received had they finaled or even won. There's really only one mixed doubles specialist team playing in this event, but officials say it's for the greater good, for the sport, that they're trying to generate interest. The mixed doubles event takes place today and tomorrow. $1 million is going to the winning team, and you can see the mixed doubles matches starting at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2 and then later on ESPN News.
I have a question.
And I thank you for raising your hand.
So who picks the teams? Is it the U.S. Open or the players set themselves
The U.S. Open asked players, and the players decided whether or not they wanted. I think dangling that little $1 million purse definitely helped in getting these teams.
Sure. Yeah, I feel bad for the specialists because this is the time that they can.
Because they train for that.
I just saw Tiafoe. He looked excited. He's ready to go.
Is everyone in tennis gorgeous? Because everybody's beautiful.
Plus the tennis body. Coming up, Cracker Barrel fans upset with the changes at the chain.
Oh, my mom is not happy.
We're going to ask the CEO, Lara, about the renovations in a GMA exclusive.
4 seconds, huh? You can work on your forehand and your backhand. We'll be right back.
Oh!
We're going to make it happen. We're going to get on your feet because Gloria Estefan is coming to GMA, performing live this Friday, taking us into the weekend with our summer concert series. Love it when she's here, and we cannot wait for that.
Always brings a lot of energy.
She does.
Oh, yeah.
First new at 7:30, Spain is calling up hundreds more soldiers to battle wildfires across the country. Officials say nearly 24 serious fires are burning, fueled by a deadly heat wave that is sparking dangerous conditions not seen in decades. Temperatures well over 100 degrees.
The Coast Guard and other agencies are investigating an explosion on a cargo ship in Baltimore Harbor last night near the site of the Key Bridge collapse last year. The fire and explosion damaged the ship, which stayed afloat. There were no injuries to the nearly 24 people aboard. The 2025 Little League World Series is underway, and take a look at this incredible catch. Japan at bat against Venezuela. Oh yeah, it's Sebastian Lopez reaching up and over his head to make that catch and pumping the fist.
Oh, I love that.
Well,
he's like, come on.
Fierce look.
He's like, get on your feet.
Get on your feet for me. I made that catch. You deserve it. And Venezuela won 4-0.
Thank you very much, Michael. Going to turn now to the new development in the Matthew Perry overdose case. Prosecutors say the drug dealer known as the ketamine queen has agreed to plead guilty to selling the fatal dose that killed the beloved actor. Trevor Ault is in Los Angeles with that story for us. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Robin. We know 4 other people had already taken plea deals in this case, but the so-called ketamine queen was just weeks away from trial. But federal prosecutors now say she is pleading guilty to a number of charges, including providing that ketamine that led to Matthew Perry's death.
Nearly 2 years after the death of Friends star Matthew Perry, this morning the woman charged with supplying the dose of ketamine that ultimately killed him will now be pleading guilty. Prosecutors say Jasveen Sangha, known as the ketamine queen, has accepted a plea agreement on 5 federal charges for her role in the actor's fatal overdose. According to court documents, Sangha initially learned Perry was interested in ketamine and offered him a sample. Within weeks, she'd provided up to 50 vials in exchange for cash. And when Perry was found dead at home, court documents also allege Sangha tried to destroy evidence of her involvement, texting their mutual friend, "Delete all our messages." Sangha is one of 5 people charged in the actor's death, all of them pleading guilty.
These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves.
In a statement, Sangha's lawyer says she is taking responsibility for her actions.
4 people prior to her have already pled guilty and have not been sentenced. And a part of those pleas, they agreed to cooperate in the prosecution against her. She would have had 4 co-defendants testifying against her. That would have made for a very difficult trial.
Perry had spoken at length about his longtime battle with addiction, opening up to our Diane Sawyer the year before he died.
You say, addiction, the big terrible thing, is far too powerful for anyone to defeat alone. But together, one day at a time, we can beat it down.
Your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone.
And it appears that Matthew Perry's death is not the first that the so-called ketamine queen was involved in. As part of this plea agreement, Sangha also admitted to selling ketamine to a man hours before he died of an overdose way back in 2019. She now faces up to 65 years in prison. Guys.
Okay, Trevor, thanks very much. We're turning now to an ABC News exclusive. The woman who was stalked for over a decade, kidnapped and escaped. Samantha Stites is now sharing her story of survival. Rhiannon Alley has the details. Good morning, Rhiannon.
Good morning to you, George. This is an incredible story. It's a real-life stalking case with inspiration from a fictional crime show that was watched by millions, according to the victim. We spoke with Samantha Stites about her years of terror and why she decided to share her story with the world now.
Initially, nothing tipped me off that he was anything really more than awkward.
Samantha Stites opening up in the new series Stalking Samantha, 13 Years of Terror.
I was 20, 21. It was my last year of school.
Stites was enjoying a busy college life until the day she met Christopher Thomas.
He began to message me more and more, and just his behaviors kind of escalated.
Thomas suddenly began showing up everywhere she went. She ended up filing a protective order against him. 6 years later, she moved back to her hometown in Michigan when she noticed an unwelcome face.
I was just shocked. I began seeing him at my gym. I began seeing him at the grocery store.
2 years later, seemingly safe in her own bed, the unthinkable.
I heard a squeak on my floorboard. I went to reach to turn on a light for a split second, and in the time of doing that, he entered my room and jumped on top of me and began choking me. He put me in my own car and drove my car, before dawn to the storage unit he had transformed into this 7x7 soundproof bunker.
Thomas stocking the unit with canned goods, a hot plate, and even a pair of black pajamas.
He tells me, I kind of got this idea for this bunker from watching that show, the TV show You. He essentially kidnaps her and keeps her in this glass room, which Christopher says wasn't logistically possible. He had looked into it.
Stites feigns interest in Thomas, making him believe she wants a relationship, convincing him to let her go.
I said, "You promised me, Christopher, that if I sleep with you, you will let me out tonight." He said, "I will." And I said, "Shake me on it." And he looked me in the eyes and shook my hand.
Within 48 hours of allowing her to leave, Thomas was under arrest, later pleading guilty to kidnapping, torture, and aggravated stalking, and was sentenced to 40 to 60 years in prison.
I think at the end of the day, anyone has the capacity to do something incredible to save their own life.
What she did was incredible. Stalking Samantha, 13 Years of Terror, is streaming today on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. And Samantha Stites says she chose to share her story to empower others to feel comfortable enough to share their story, guys. And she says she knew she couldn't overpower him. She wasn't big enough, strong enough. She said she had to use her mind instead. And that's what she did.
Yeah, but she was stronger in other ways. All right, Rhiannon, thank you so much for bringing that to us. Now, with big changes at a restaurant chain that is an American staple, Cracker Barrel is renovating its locations, but many loyal customers say the change is removing what makes the restaurant such a great dining experience and taking to social media to voice their complaints. Well, join us now exclusively to talk about this is the CEO of Cracker Barrel, Julie Masino. Julie, thank you so much for joining us here on GMA. I want you to tell us about the redesign of Cracker Barrel and some of your response to the criticism.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. And if I can, I want to give a quick shout out to the 70,000 team members who bring the Cracker Barrel brand to life for our guests every single day. So to the remodels. I think what's important is that we are listening to our guests. We're doing this all for them. What they've said is they love the new seating. We're adding in booths, making the chairs more comfortable, putting in new lighting, brightening up the paint color. But what's important is things that people love about Cracker Barrel, the soul of Cracker Barrel is not changing. The rocking chairs are still there, the fireplace is there, the peg game, all the things that make Cracker Barrel, the vintage decor, it's still there and it's working. The results affirm that we're headed in the right direction.
And this is part of a multi-year transformation of the chain. What else can the customers expect to change?
Yeah, well, remember, the heart and soul of Cracker Barrel is going to stay the same. And so today we're actually launching a new campaign called All the More, which really highlights how people feel about Cracker Barrel. It's bigger than just a meal. We've got a retail shop. You're going to get great country hospitality with our scratch-made food in our restaurants, and that's really what this campaign celebrates. So we've enlisted a little bit of help from a guy named Jordan Davis. Maybe you've heard of him. He's got a new single and album out, and he's in our ad and is the voice of it as well. And it really, again, just highlights those things that make Cracker Barrel Cracker Barrel.
Is the food changing?
The food, well, here's what I'll say about that. Innovation has proven to be really great at Cracker Barrel. People are loving our new menu items. We're reinvigorating our dinner menu. We've got a new herb roasted chicken that is so delicious that launches today. It's like the chicken you would make, Michael, if you were at home making a chicken. Juicy, crisp skin, a nice little sauce that comes with it. But we're also doing some things that our guests love, like bringing back Uncle Herschel's favorite. It's back today in all of our restaurants. So the things that you love at Cracker Barrel are still going to be there.
And a lot of restaurants are leaning and going back to nostalgia, things that the customers are really comfortable with.
We never left it.
Yeah, you never left it, but you're changing up. You're kind of going a different direction. Why is that your strategy?
Yeah, because the Cracker Barrel needs to feel like the Cracker Barrel for today and for tomorrow. And again, the things that you love are still there. We need people to choose us, and we want people to choose us because people love this brand. They've loved it. Everybody's got a story, right? Did you go to Cracker Barrel on the way to your grandma's when you were traveling soccer or whatever those things are? Our job is to make Cracker Barrel a place that they want to be today and tomorrow.
You said everybody has their story, and I can see Robin right there. She's shaking her head like, yeah, I have mine with
Robin
grandma,
just told me her
parents.
story. She's a big Cracker Barrel fan, and we're grateful for it. So.
But it's more than a restaurant, though. You sell furniture, you sell apparel, you sell food, of course. You even sell bedding. But how have tariffs affected the prices, and have you felt the effect of the prices?
Yeah, look, we think about the business really in kind of two ways. So the restaurant side, all of those goods for the most part are sourced here domestically. That's our food and everything that we're preparing in the restaurant side. The retail side, we get a lot of those goods from all over the world. So we have been really looking at the tariff side there. We're doing everything we can to mitigate the impact because Cracker Barrel's, we are an abundant value. When you think about what happens in the restaurant side, our average check is about $15 versus the industry's at $27. So it's an amazing value, great scratch cooked food, abundant portions. A lot of people take leftovers home with them. Our job is to maintain that great value and the great delicious food and the country hospitality we're known for. And we're working hard on that.
All right, I got to ask this question. I think I probably know the answer. What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you again.
Answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Now with our play of the day, the former Rockette kicking up a storm on the internet, Sam.
Oh, I love this story, Robin. I think everybody will. Meet 90-year-old Aunt Patsy, who reminds us that once a dancer, always a dancer. And if you stay young, it's because you keep dancing and you keep moving. There's a former Rockette and professional dancer right there at her line dance class, doing the Cupid Shuffle, by the way. Look at those hips don't lie. At the First Colonial Inn Senior Living Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. This video racking up, folks, more than 6.1 million views on the TikTok. And a fan of what this video, check out what they found on eBay. Patsy in all her Rockette glory back in the day. Look at this gorgeous lady, and still gorgeous. And by the way, the Rockettes, founded in 1925, are celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. Would you're an inspiration. As I tell my mom, see mom, see,
move it,
Miss Sylvia, move it.
I would say she's still got it, but she never lost it.
Right? Yeah.
Never lost it. Go on with your bad self. We'll be right back.
I knew you.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Hurricane Aaron on the move. A state of emergency declared in North Carolina. Coastal areas preparing for up to 20-foot waves. More than 50 swimmers rescued from rip currents at one beach. The storm now heading north. Ginger has the track and timing.
How Gabby Petito's family is using her tragic death nearly 4 years ago to help others who have lost loved ones.
We feel that we can be a voice to help amplify those stories,
but are still searching for answers.
Plus, celebrity trainer Harley Pasternak is here with some good news.
You can have carbs, lose weight, and get lean, stay lean.
He'll show you how. Plus, the secrets of his viral soup sensation as we say Good Morning America.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
And good morning to you. We love it when Tori is here. And she has deals and steals that are devoted to adventure, terrific products to enjoy the outdoors these last weeks of summer, all at least 50% off.
Yeah, love a good deal. And just ahead, the move to cut prices of certain weight loss drugs and make them more accessible. We'll tell you all about that.
First, look at the top stories breaking today. We start with Hurricane Aaron. Ginger's tracking the timing and the rip current warnings. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning, George. So we just see this storm now, 720 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. It has dropped to a Category 2 with 110-mile-per-hour max sustained winds, but I don't want you to pay attention to just the category. That will go up and down the next 36 hours or so. What I do want you to watch are those watches. Tropical storm watch now up for the Outer Banks. Also a storm surge watch, up to 4 feet of surge expected. And we anticipate the turn to the north to happen late tomorrow into Thursday, and then to the north and east. So all of the beaches, and I'm saying well beyond the Outer Banks, will have coastal erosion, big time push of water, coastal flooding and surge. And then let's time it out, because it's all about that timing, and it comes way too close for comfort. Wednesday night and again Thursday morning, we stop the clock at 6 a.m. before that front grabs it. See how it's kind of just kissing onto the Outer Banks there, and then heads out to the north and east. The impacts are going to be huge. Look for the Outer Banks to have large breaking waves in the surf zone, 15 to 20 feet. If you put that with high tide, and I just looked, high tide is at 6:30 a.m. in Hatteras, so that's no good. For Thursday morning, we're going to see horrible images coming in, and then we'll see anybody from the Jersey Shore through Long Island, Nantucket, even up to Halifax with big waves through the end of the week. Robin?
Such a large area can be impacted. All right, Ginger, thank you. Now, a new push to make weight loss medications more accessible to tens of thousands of pharmacies across the nation. Stephanie Ramos is here with those details for us. Good morning, Stephanie.
Robin, good morning. The weight loss wars are heating up this morning, and there's a new move that could make those popular GLP-1 injections more accessible for people paying out of pocket. Pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk is teaming up with GoodRx to offer Wegovy and Ozempic for a flat $499 a month. This is for people who qualify and who are paying cash. And yes, it's the same pre-filled auto-injector pens that many patients already use. Novo had already launched a home delivery option for Wegovy through its own NovaCare pharmacy, but this expands access to 70,000 pharmacies across the country and for the first time brings Ozempic into that lower cash price model. Now, their main competitor, Eli Lilly, already offers Zepbound at that same price, $499 through their Lilly Direct program, but those come in vials, so patients have to measure out the dose themselves and use a syringe. The bottom line here is there are now more ways to get these medications prescribed by a doctor through legitimate FDA-approved channels, even if your insurance doesn't cover weight loss drugs. Michael.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. We're going to go now to a GMA Health Alert about hearing aids and dementia. A new study out overnight indicates they could help reduce the risk of dementia. Our medical correspondent, Dr. Darien Sutton, is here with more. And Doc, tell us about these findings.
Good morning. So this is about why recognizing and treating hearing loss early can benefit your brain in the long run. This study comes from the Framingham Heart Study. It's the longest running, most influential study to date. They followed nearly 3,000 adults, older adults, for close to 20 years. And what they found is that at the end of that 20-year period, for the adults who suffered from hearing loss, those who use hearing aids cut their risk of dementia by more than half. Wow. More specifically, the use of hearing aids was associated with a 61% reduced risk of dementia. Now, I think the second important note here is really important to note. For the adults who started using hearing aids after the age of 70, that risk, that benefit was not seen. So it really cements the importance of early intervention and identification of hearing loss.
And what are some signs that someone's experiencing hearing loss?
Yeah, well, 1 in 6 adults experience hearing loss. The majority, Michael, are not treated or not aware. And so understanding what the symptoms and signs look are important. Number one, if you're having difficulty following conversations, or if you're feeling like everyone is mumbling around you, or if you're frequently asking questions, and this is one of the telltale signs, if you feel like your TV or your radio is often louder than people prefer, those are signs that you should get your hearing checked. And then beyond that, protecting our hearing is really important. Aside from age, noise is one of the biggest risk factors for hearing loss, so you want to make sure to protect your ears in loud environments. That includes things like concerts, using power tools, and even going into our phone settings and adjusting the volume settings so that we can have a safer environment. Remember, hearing keeps you attached to conversations, relationships, and the world around you, and it's really important to understand the benefit of that, because not hearing reduces your stimulation and overall increases your risk of cognitive decline. So it's so important to check.
And hearing aids right now, they're so discreet.
They're so discreet, and they're becoming more and more accessible,
right.
But you want to start with a formal hearing exam because, Robin, there are many different types of hearing loss and different types of severity, so you want to know exactly what's the cost.
Yeah, wow. Wow, thank you for that. And all those things you listed, I think I'm going to get my hearing checked. And I didn't hear a thing you said.
I'll meet you after the show.
But thank you. We appreciate that. That's very informative right there. Coming up in our GMA Morning Menu, the family of Gabby Petito reaching out to families whose loved ones have gone missing. Their new mission to help them all get answers.
What an incredible family. Also ahead last night, surprise on SportsCenter. Rich Eisen back in the anchor chair. Lara's going to tell us all about it in Pop News.
Also, Grace Van Patten is here to talk about playing Amanda Knox in her new series. And Lara, you've got a special guest as well.
Yeah, we do. We do.
We have Harley Pasternak with us. Harley, I need a carb reset, my friend.
Oh, we got it right here.
Yeah, we do. So Harley's got this great new book out. It's all about resetting how you think about a balanced diet, and that does include carbs and fat. Yeah. It's coming up right here on GMA.
Did you point at me when you said fat?
No, I did not. I would never do that. Just stay with us. We're going to have a good time.
Back now with our GMA cover story. The family of Gabby Petito now fighting for other families dealing with unimaginable tragedies. Most recently, they were in New Hampshire raising awareness. It was a harrowing case that captivated an entire nation. That revelation in the Gabby Petito case, 22-year-old Gabby Petito disappearing on a cross-country road trip with her fiancé, then found dead, murdered by the man she loved. Now, nearly 4 years after her tragic death, her family is turning their pain into purpose.
We're not residents of New Hampshire, but we stand with these families,
helping others who have also lost loved ones but are still searching for answers.
We had resolution in our case. Gabby was found, and there's a lot of families who don't have that resolution, and we feel that we can be a voice to help amplify those stories.
Gabby's mother, Nicole, and stepfather, Jim, speaking at a rally in New Hampshire Friday, helping raise awareness for the more than 130 missing and murdered persons cases that remained unsolved in the state.
From the time we were able to report her missing to finding her body was 8 days. And I can tell you those 8 days felt like an eternity. So to stand here with these families that have been searching for months, years, with no answers, their strength and courage and determination is awe-inspiring.
Not everybody gets the attention that she got. The world came together, the media came forward, tips came in, and that's what helped find her and bring her home. And so all of these families deserve the same thing that Gabby received.
The Gabby Petito Foundation, working with the New Hampshire Coalition of Families of the Missing and Murdered, who organized the event, and the Light the Way Missing Persons Advocacy Project.
These are real people. They are truly missed. We might talk a lot about a missing person or, a victim of a homicide when it happens in the beginning, but when all of that goes away, there's someone holding nothing.
Among those 100-plus unsolved cases, the disappearance of Mara Murray. Mara went missing in 2004 after her car crash, seemingly vanishing into thin air at just 21 years old. More than 2 decades later, what happened to her is still a mystery.
Having to live with not knowing is the worst form of loss. It's called ambiguous loss, where you don't know.
The talented student athlete was in the midst of pursuing a nursing degree at the University of Massachusetts Amherst.
She got recruited by top schools all over the country, and she would never tell you that. She was very humble.
There's almost a sense of guilt about living your everyday life because you're here. Mara's not, and that's not fair. So you have trouble finding peace, true happiness.
The chief of the cold case unit said they are actively working to solve her case.
The disappearance of Mara Murray is a case that we are actively involved in, as well as our partners from the Federal Bureau of Investigation using modern forensic technology. We haven't given up. We urge the public not to either.
Also, at Friday's rally, the family of Trish Haynes. In 2018, the 25-year-old's remains were found at the bottom of Grants Pond in New Hampshire.
She was vibrant and she could light up a room with a smile. She was just loving, caring, give you the shirt off her back.
Her great aunt says she and Trish's mother were initially told by law enforcement to keep the gruesome discovery a secret, forced to pretend Trish was still just missing. Now, they say they believe they know who killed her and are frustrated.
Trish's case is not unsolved. Trish's case is unprosecuted. We know where she was for the last 4 months of her life. We know from other people that she was abused. We know from some people that she was murdered. The state of New Hampshire needs to do better.
The Attorney General's office telling ABC News the goal of investigators is to seek justice for what was done to Trish and to hold the persons responsible accountable under the law, adding, despite 7 years of ongoing investigation, the evidence needed to meet the state's burden at trial has not yet emerged. All these families bonded through tragedy, but moving forward with hope.
I have hope. I do. I hope that they can solve the case, that they prosecute.
Hope is what fuels families like mine and other families in this situation. If you don't have hope, you don't have anything.
You heard that right. If you don't have hope, you don't have anything. And Gabby's family started the Gabby Petito Foundation in the fall of 2021, not long after her death. Its mission is to support organizations that locate missing persons and assist victims of domestic violence. And they're really doing some great work.
Yeah, they are doing great work there.
All these families that we just saw there, the strength of these families. But Gabby Petito's family step up like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Michael. Let's switch gears and get some pop news.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to begin with the return of a broadcasting legend, Rich Eisen, who had a huge career on ESPN's SportsCenter. Well, he came back to the desk for the first time in decades. From that iconic music
tonight on SportsCenter
to a familiar voice.
Hey there. Saying this for the first time in 22 years. Welcome to SportsCenter. Alongside all of you, I am Rich Eisen.
It was a throwback Monday on ESPN.
We'll stroll down memory lane together with the top 10 NFL moments since I last hosted this show.
Eisen was the voice of SportsCenter from 1996 to 2003, alongside the late, great Stuart Scott.
That's exactly what Jordan would have picked.
Eisen honoring his dear friend with some highlights from their time together on the show.
Those who are late do not get fruit cup. 2 snaps up and 2 good teams.
I feel like this is the opening of the Addams Family instead of SportsCenter.
They're talking, they're just gonna have a little no, they're just playing the feud! They're playing the feud!
The pair sharing the desk for 7 years before Eisen left the network. Scott passed away in 2015 after a courageous battle with cancer.
I frequently think of Stuart a lot. I could go on and on because I miss Stuart so very much. He should be in that chair with me, with us tonight.
Thanks.
All of that was gearing up for the Rich Eisen show, coming to ESPN Plus and Disney Plus in his familiar noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time slot, and that begins on September 2nd. And what a nice tribute to
Oh my gosh, Rich and Stu, what a team.
Yep.
What a dynamic duo they were.
That was really great to see him and to hear about Stu, and welcome back.
Yeah.
So great. Hey, also this morning, guess who's in the news? Taylor Swift, everybody. Celebrating the life of a sold-out showgirl.
Well.
Yeah, following another mysterious countdown clock on TaylorSwift.com, the superstar sending the internet into a frenzy again before announcing a 48-hour sale of 2 new sparkly vinyl editions of her upcoming album. And I'm sad to say that both of them sold out in minutes. I missed my chance. Taylor's much-anticipated record drops October 3rd. It is not the only major milestone Swifties are ready for. We know Taylor's fans love an Easter egg hunt, and they are pretty sure that all roads, guys, are leading to Taylor's next era as the Super Bowl halftime performer. Please let this be true. If you're a Swiftie, you say it is. Apparently, Taylor's repeated mention of the numbers 47, 60, and the word sourdough during that New Heights podcast appearance, it all points to her performance at Super Bowl 60, which will be held at the 49ers Levi Stadium in California, the 47th stop it would be on her Eras tour. And by the way, the 49ers mascot, his name is Sourdough Sam.
Yeah.
Remember, she said she loves making sourdough
she talked
bread.
about it a lot.
Well,
the math is mathin'.
That's right. Yep, the math is mathin'. So we're also getting our first non-Travis review of the upcoming album, and it is good. Taylor's pal Zoe Kravitz says in a recent interview, it's fantastic, of course, and no skips. Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl begins streaming everywhere on October 3rd, and
I'm just thinking about you. So we have a 2 month.
At least.
I know my assignment.
Amber cracked the code. Amber came to me the other day. She goes, "It's the Super Bowl. She's performing at the Super Bowl." I'm like, "What?" And she did exactly what you said.
My girls are now football fans.
Exactly.
For the next couple of months.
Exactly.
Deals and Steals. Tori is here with products for adventure because we got a few more weeks of summer left, right? So let's get to it.
Year round, baby. This one is it. It's 90 Degree by Reflex. And whether you are taking a walk, working out, or just heading to work, we've got all of their athleisure that looks so good. I'm holding this because I want you to feel how soft. These buttery soft tees, these jackets that are phenomenal, but their real hero are the leggings. 25,000 positive reviews on their leggings. You can choose with pockets or without. It's their new upgraded fabric that's got really nice gentle compression. It stretches so that it moves with you as you're on the go. Slashed up to 64% today. Everything starts at $14.
That is a real bargain.
It's so soft. So soft. Something else we love, Scout bags. We've got 16 different silhouettes for you to choose from. These are just great to be able to have either as a bag that you just have handy to be able to cart any of your stuff, but then we also have a lot of specialty ones. So little ones that will hold a phone. That one right there has the cooler insert. So if you're going on it, don't worry, it's bag down, we're good. Pickleball, tennis bags, so many different options, all 50% off starting at $14.50.
I love the different designs here.
Yes. All right, so you need good tunes, good sound on any adventure, whether it is the headphones like this, noise canceling headphones, or their earbuds that are totally wireless, sweat resistant. This is one of their best-selling products, this one right here. 15,000 positive reviews on this, and it's waterproof. So whether it's super sweat-proof or waterproof, really great sound. These just easy to go anywhere. All slash and half starts at $20.
Yeah, we put it out by the pool.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Speaking of pool, I heard Lara and Sam talking about a pool date and the need to have Lieutenant Blenders cocktail mixes. Yeah, so they were trying to decide, do we like the Bellini, the Sangria, the Pina Colada, the Margarita? What's great about these is you pour in water in your spirit, so liquor or wine, shake, pop it in the freezer, and then as soon as the guests arrive, you've got a perfect slushy cocktail. No mess, no long ingredient list, no cleanup. Checks everybody. Yeah. 50% off, they're $7.50.
This is headed to the club.
Yeah.
You can put it at the club, right? Backstage.
There you go. On tap. All right, Malibu Sky. Sal said to me, do you know if you're going to a stadium or a game, you need to have a clear bag?
That's right.
So I said, yep, that's why they're called stadium bags. So we've got the clear ones. We also have these nylon ones. And then we've got these little quilted wristlets. I have to give a shout out. These quilted wristlets, it's a wallet and wristlet in one. These today, you guys, are $14.50 and free shipping. Do not sit on that deal. These bags are fabulous too.
I love it.
And then finally, I wanted to have Grandpa Stray come over and see this.
Grandpa Stray.
Grandpa Stray, we brought this one for you. Real golf clubs. So in Baby Onyx is maybe a year away from being 2.
A little bit more than that, but we can get started early.
We can get started early. So this was started by a dad and a golf coach. He's got 4 kids, wanted to teach his toddlers, and could only find plastic stuff. Nothing real unless you had it custom made. That is the real deal. These are metal clubs. We've got 4 different sizes that you choose based on the child's height, from toddlers to juniors.
Here you go.
Start them young.
Here goes Grandpa
Start them young, and we've got the gloves, the balls. We've got everything for the kids. All 50% off. From
Where is Gary when I need him?
I knew you were going to say that. How many knew that he was going to bring up Gary for this? Yep, everybody did.
I couldn't help myself.
We have partnered, thank you, Tori, as always. We have partnered with these companies on these great products. You can get them at gmadeals.com or the QR code that is on your screen.
Welcome back to GMA, live from New York City.
And we are back now with the first of our series, Profiling Businesses for Black Business Month. We kick things off with a woman who turned her passion into a livelihood and is inspiring women of color to get on the golf course. For some, golf is much more than a hobby. It's a lifestyle. And historically, a game that has been dominated by men.
Just look down, keep your eye on the ball.
27-year-old Sierra Balgar is hoping to change that.
Not bad.
By inspiring more women of color to pick up a club, hit the course, and find community. So tell me about your passion for golf and how did you first get into the sport?
Yes, so I got involved into the sport because a friend of mine challenged me and said, hey, like, try to pick up the club and try to hit the ball. And I did, and I missed the ball several times, and it wasn't a really good swing at all. And at that moment, I realized, hey, I actually want to learn and pick up this sport and try to get good at it.
Well, first of all, you're not the first one to miss the ball, your first swing.
Yeah.
Happened to all of us. But when you decided to take lessons, how often did you see someone that looked like you?
I didn't see any woman like myself there. And as I started taking more and more lessons, I recognized the reason why I didn't see women like myself there, because there's no representation, there's no images shown of women like me playing.
And how were you received by others?
A lot of people thought I was like a bar cart girl. They didn't think I was actually there to play the game.
In 2023, Sierra says she encouraged a group of friends to sign up for golf lessons in Washington, D.C., documenting the outings on social media. Those posts gaining tens of thousands of views and sparking the creation of City Girls Golf, an organization aiming to make the sport more accessible and foster a sense of sisterhood.
Cost is a huge thing when it comes to golf, and we make sure we partner with golf courses that offer like opportunities to lower the price.
What kind of programs and services do you offer?
Yeah, so we offer golf clinics. So those are beginner friendly. So if you just want to get introduced to the game of golf and want to kind of like get your feet wet, that's a perfect way to get into that. And then we also do member guided tee time. So now we're transitioning from golf lessons to actually playing on the golf course now.
Wow. I want to know the reaction from the women though. When they first come into the group, what is the excitement level?
It's high because it's something that a lot of them have never experienced.
Which club is this? Girls gonna go up in the stratosphere.
Abigail Foster says she joined City Girls Golf after seeing a post on TikTok. Now she serves as the president of the DC chapter.
Learning a new sport, especially golf, can be very, very cumbersome. It can be a very daunting task. But one thing that City Girls Golf has done and mastered is that we allow people to come in and just learn golf, have no level of competition. We're all in it to win it.
This creates an environment where you can build friendship, you can build connections, and then you can also build confidence on the course as well.
You built such an incredible business, successful business at such a young age. How's that experience been for you?
It's interesting because it's the first time I ever done anything like this. It was not something that I dreamed of as a child, but I have learned so much from just building this business, learning the golf industry. I encourage, women and anyone to just take on the sport and try it for yourself. And if you want to start a business or if you want to just get involved in the golf industry, there's definitely space for all of us.
Tell us about his golf game.
Yeah, tell about golf. Because City Girls Golf, they inspired me. And City Girls Golf, they have chapters in Washington, D.C., Maryland, New York, and Florida, but they plan to expand and eventually come to a city near you. I love what she's doing.
Doing great work.
Great work, great work. It looks like a lot of fun.
Now, with a remembrance of loss and a celebration of resilience, it's our upcoming special Hurricane Katrina 20 years after the storm, where we look at the devastation of that Category 5 storm that killed nearly 1,400 people, ravaged so many communities, to see how the Gulf Coast has healed after 2 decades. Here's a first look. The emotional toll to this very day is still, well, just overwhelming. 20 years later, Hurricane Katrina. Just incredible. I had never in my entire life seen that kind of destruction. Now, to reflect on Katrina 20 years later, there were tears, sorrow, and tears of joy. Good to see you.
Friday night, August 29th, Robin Roberts. She was right there in the wake of destruction.
So many people affected by this storm.
And now, Robin goes back to her home on the Gulf Coast.
Whew. That was a trip down memory lane.
With the powerful stories of those who lived through it all.
What's it like to see it rebuilt, knowing what it looked like 20 years ago?
I would have had a better chance of dreaming of being on Mars than 20 years out.
And back to New Orleans.
I don't think 1 week go by that we don't refer to something with Katrina. I remember thinking, is the city itself going to be back? Physically, emotionally?
Katrina may have given us a run for our money, but it could never kill us.
A city rebuilt, thriving. A community united, filled with love.
The greatest city in the world.
Home is home.
The love trickles down into everything that we are here.
This city is so magical and spiritual.
The all-new event special.
This is something about the South. You're not knocking us down completely.
Robin Roberts.
I'm home. it'll always be home.
Hurricane Katrina, 20 years after the storm. Friday night, August 29th at 8/7 Central on ABC.
I hope everybody feels, no matter where you're from, there's no place like home, wherever home is to you. And you can see Hurricane Katrina 20 years after the storm on Friday, August 29th. That's a week from this Friday at 7 Central here on ABC and streaming the next day on Hulu and Disney+. And you have to keep in mind the area of destruction is the size of Great Britain. Wow, it wasn't like you could just leave one town there on the coast and go to the next. It was the size of Great Britain. But the people from around the country and the world who rallied around all of us on the Gulf Coast to help lift us back up. And so to be able to celebrate where we are and look back and some lessons learned from those who are going through their something right now, be it the fires, the flooding, hurricanes and such.
Well, we're happy to bring that to us.
This was so important for you to do. I'm really looking forward to it.
I appreciate it all. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Right, love you back. Right. Thank you, Robin.
You know our next guest from the show, Tell Me Lies, and now Grace Van Patten is starring in the twisted tale of Amanda Knox. She's playing Amanda, who was jailed and later acquitted of the 2007 murder of her roommate, Meredith Kircher. Take a look.
We want you to come home.
No, I can't.
What do you mean you can't? Did they tell you you can't?
Kind of. They said that they really need my help and that I'm like their most important witness. So I think I have to stay, Mom.
With a killer on the loose there?
I'm sure the police will protect me.
Famous last words right there. Thank you for coming in. So did you know much about Amanda's story before you took this role?
You know, I thought I knew a lot more than what I did, which I feel like the audience will have the same experience. There's so much more to this story than what they publicized at the time. So.
And what was it like for you to have such access to both Amanda and Monica Lewinsky, both executive producers on this project?
Yeah, it was amazing. There's no other way to do it. It was such an amazing opportunity to work with Amanda to reclaim her story after her story being told for her for so many years.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing you learned about the story that you didn't know?
I mean, the facts, the amount of facts that they either ignored or kept from the public were mind-blowing to me. And the fact that all of them still led to her wrongful conviction is just shocking. So I really hope people go into this and are able to form an opinion based on these facts as opposed to the bias that was fed to us at the time.
Will you remind our viewers why do you think they did that?
I think it was all shock value. I think they were completely ignoring the facts and the mistakes under the investigation, the lack of evidence, and it's a good question. It's a really good question why they did that. Yeah.
There's a little bit of art imitating life inside the movie. Your sister plays Amanda's sister?
Yes, yes. I did this with my sister, which I couldn't have asked for a better scene partner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough subject matter, but nice to work together. And talk to me about your linguistics. You learned Italian pretty quickly for the role.
I did. I mean, I didn't learn it complete. I learned my lines.
Yeah.
But I did spend 2 months before shooting just practicing as much as I could, and we shot in Rome for the first 2 months, so it was nice to be immersed in it as much as possible. And
so, Grace, if you go on a vacation to the Amalfi Coast, will you be able to get by with what you learned on the shoot?
I'll be able to order spaghetti and a glass of wine.
Okay. That is what I was hoping. So another added benefit to an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Would love to switch gears. If you could just share with us a little bit about what we can expect on Tell Me Lies.
You can expect a lot more drama. There's no shortage of drama and toxicity and young people doing awful things. So, yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox premieres tomorrow on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. And when we come back, Harley Pasternak says carbs are okay if you eat them the right way. She's going to tell us how. We are back now with Harley Pasternak.
best-selling author and a trainer who has worked with stars like Lady Gaga, Robert Downey Jr., Rob Lowe, Sam Champion.
Yeah! The Carb Reset.
Yeah, that's the name of the new book.
Yeah, but we've been working together today.
Yes. But these are science-based tips to help us rethink about our relationship with carbs and Sam, our relationship with fat.
Right. Welcome back to GMA.
Thank you.
So,
By the way,
25 years.
25 years since the first GMA I did. Today is 25 years.
And guess who interviewed you on
You
that?
did.
Yes.
And you look exactly the same as you did 25 years ago.
Thank you.
I could be your son.
Give me that.
I could be your son. And maybe it's all the carbohydrates.
I think it must be the carbs and the fat. But Sam's already snacking, and I guess he really likes it. Let's talk to Sam. Do you want me to do the first question?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Because I'm still swallowing.
Well, so many of us think, I want to lose weight, less carbs. You say not necessarily so.
Because that's what we were told.
Science has never supported that. It's calories in versus calories out. When you overeat calories, you gain weight, and when you cut your calories, you lose weight.
And you need carbs. And it's your fuel.
You need carbs. Carbs are healthy for you. Carbs keep you happy. When you're on that low carb stuff, how long can you have a bacon double cheeseburger with no bun and be happy? Probably not that long.
I can't.
No, not even once.
I can't.
Here we have this amazing.
I won't do it.
You know,
you've got recipes in here as well,
fruits,
and this
whole
apple
grains,
thing is great.
Legumes, all these things we've been scared to have. Now it's time to have a baked apple.
Yeah.
How good is this? This is simple. It's a baked apple with a cinnamon stuffed yogurt inside.
I'm telling you, this is delicious.
Sam's going to town on this.
And you know what?
So it must be.
If you enjoy what you eat, you're more likely to stick to it.
Yep.
See?
And so having delicious things like breads, pastas, all these things. My working title of the book was supposed to be Skinny People Eat Bread, but you can't say skinny. But you get the idea. So you can be lean and you're
So how do we make this? Just give me a quickie on this.
This is so simple.
You core the apple.
Here's a little. You core the apple. Get one of those little cores. They're really simple. And I make a whole bunch at once, and I keep them in the fridge for the family. And it's probably 2 minutes of prep. Goes in the oven for an hour. You take it out, and I just stuff it with a little bit of cinnamon yogurt and crumble some nuts on top.
And you like cinnamon because that has good properties.
I love cinnamon,
as well,
good
right?
for blood sugar as well, and it tastes delicious.
It
is delicious.
So
I just finished the whole
another
thing.
recipe in the book that I'm gonna now eat while you talk is this, this is a quesadilla. What's good about yours?
I think Michael almost ate this when he walked by a minute ago. So this is simple. It's an anytime quesadilla, and what's great is I've got arugula in there. I've got roasted red peppers. I buy these in jars. They're so good for gut health. They're fermented.
Okay.
And I put in diced chicken in there, and it's a little bit of tomato sauce. And you can use whatever you want. You can put shrimp.
Yeah, if I had extra stuff in the fridge, I could just throw it in there.
Yeah, you don't have to stick to this. You get the general idea. You've got your tortilla, and you've got the protein and veggies inside.
And I love how you've got it charred on the outside. That's the best way. It's fantastic.
Oh, so good.
Now, this is the way I eat. I love this. I love this. Let's talk about this.
You'll eat the rice?
I'll eat the rice, yeah.
Me too. I'm a huge
By the
rice
way,
fan.
you know this. What's the healthiest, longest living country in the world?
Japan.
Right. Who consumes what?
Rice.
Lots and lots of rice, exactly. And so I love nothing more than to use day-old rice, and I actually will use day-old rice, and there's studies to show that day-old rice that you put in the fridge and take back out actually makes your blood sugar surge less than hot, fresh rice.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Don't be scared to use some old rice. I've got a bunch of veggies in here. I use frozen veggies, a little bit of chicken, shrimp, whatever you want. Have fun with it.
And you've got the recipe in the book, your version.
Recipes are in the book.
And then, guys, this soup has gone so viral, this green soup. I'm so excited to finally get to taste it because I kept seeing it online. How many hits did you get on this? Like 7
Oh, 7 million. What's great is I post all this really interesting research. No one cares. I put a green soup in a blender, and I got millions and millions of people. People bump into me. I'm the soup guy now. I'm no longer,
you're not the trainer to the stars.
No, I'm the soup guy.
You're the soup guy.
How is it?
It doesn't get easier.
It's so delicious. It's and I can see how it would fill you up.
So
and
filling.
Tell us what's in it.
All right, it's really easy. I just steam some broccoli. I throw the broccoli in the blender with the water I used to steam it. I throw in a can of chickpeas, a little vegetable bouillon cube for flavor, and some avocado for creaminess. You are so filling, so good to go.
This is so good.
Right?
Yeah.
Now remember the acronym PATH, okay? Follow the PATH. Stop counting carbs, stop measuring calories. You want a palm full of carbohydrates, all the vegetables you want, a thumb of healthy fat, and the mass of your hand of protein. PATH.
Okay. All right. And please tell me that's in the book because I can't remember.
That's in the book.
Okay,
my waistline is tighter now.
By the way, there's nothing on this blue card. You guys always have cool blue cards. I wanted one for the segment.
I know.
Can we introduce
exercise
a brand new
with
guest?
a new specialist?
Yes.
This making her GMA debut is
Yes. So my kids grew up. It's a very weird childhood because they grew up, in a house full of gym equipment and people coming and going, working out all the time, and they have to test my recipes. And so she's probably angry at me for some of that. But we're gonna start. This one's around the world lunges. So honey, let's go back. Ready? forward, back and across, and lateral.
Oh, and there's no stop.
Yes, do it again. Let's go. Oh,
wow,
Right, we
Dad.
go reverse lunge, forward lunge.
This is what it's like being
Gator
coached by
lunge,
Harley now.
and lateral lunge. Yes,
And
good
how
job.
many of those are going to do it for me?
I would start off by doing 5 one leg, 5 on the other leg, and then call an ambulance.
Tell me what your name.
You can get these
Hi,
recipes
Liv.
on GoodMorningAmerica.com, and Harley's
Go
new
sit next
book,
to your dad.
The Carb Reset, is available now. Liv, come in here.
Thanks for getting Tuesday started with us.
Yeah.
We're spread out like we're afraid of George or something. You know what? Check out what you need to know anytime on Disney Plus, everybody.
He
Have a great
deserves
day.
space. He's the man.